The events of 11th September 2001 remain etched in global memory as one of the most devastating terrorist attacks in history. 4 coordinated suicide missions orchestrated by the extremist group al-Qaeda brought unparalleled destruction and loss of life. The attacks targeted key symbols of American power: the World Trade Center in New York City, the Pentagon in Washington, D.C., and a third target that was never reached due to the bravery of passengers aboard Flight 93. Nearly 3,000 people were killed, and the world was forever changed. This documentary delves into the root causes of 9/11, its immediate impact, and its profound effects on global politics, security, and society. The origins of the 9/11 attacks can be traced back to the rise of al-Qaeda in the late 1980s. Founded by Osama bin Laden, al-Qaeda emerged as a militant response to perceived injustices faced by Muslims worldwide. The Soviet invasion of Afghanistan, 1979 to 1989, served as a rallying point for jihadist fighters who were initially supported by Western powers, including the United States, to counter Soviet expansion. However, the withdrawal of Soviet forces left a power vacuum and a legacy of extremism. Al-Qaeda's hostility toward the United States intensified due to several factors. The presence of US troops in Saudi Arabia during the Gulf War, 1990 to 1991, was viewed as a desecration of Islamic holy lands. Furthermore, US support for Israel in the ongoing Israeli-Palestinian conflict fueled anger among many in the Muslim world. Al-Qaeda's ideology framed the United States as the primary oppressor of Muslims, leading to a campaign of terror that culminated in 9/11. On the morning of 11th September 2001, 19 al-Qaeda operatives hijacked 4 commercial airplanes. 2 planes, American Airlines Flight 11 and United Airlines Flight 175, struck the north and south towers of the World Trade Center, causing both buildings to collapse within hours. American Airlines Flight 77 crashed into the Pentagon, the nerve center of US military operations. The 4th plane, United Airlines Flight 93, was brought down in a Pennsylvania field after passengers heroically fought the hijackers. The attacks were meticulously planned to inflict maximum casualties and symbolize a direct assault on American power and influence. The images of the Twin Towers collapsing and people fleeing through the smoke and debris remain some of the most harrowing visuals of modern times. In the days following 9/11, the United States and the world grappled with shock, grief, and a deep sense of vulnerability. Vigils were held worldwide, and messages of solidarity poured in from nations across the globe. The phrase, "We will never forget," became a rallying cry as communities came together to mourn the victims. At the same time, questions arose about how such an attack could have occurred. Investigations revealed lapses in intelligence and security that allowed the attackers to exploit vulnerabilities in the US aviation system. The 9/11 Commission, established in 2002, would later provide a detailed account of the events leading up to the attack and recommend sweeping changes to national security policies. In response to 9/11, President George W. Bush declared a war on terror, a global campaign to eliminate terrorist organizations and their supporters. The US launched Operation Enduring Freedom in October 2001, invading Afghanistan to dismantle the Taliban regime, which had provided sanctuary to al-Qaeda. While the initial phase of the war successfully toppled the Taliban and disrupted al-Qaeda's operations, it marked the beginning of a prolonged conflict that would last over 2 decades. The US also expanded its counter-terrorism efforts globally, with measures including drone strikes, enhanced surveillance, and intelligence sharing with allied nations. The war on terror significantly reshaped global geopolitics, influencing military strategies, diplomatic relations, and the allocation of resources. Domestically, the US implemented sweeping changes to prevent future attacks. The Patriot Act, passed in October 2001, expanded government powers for surveillance and intelligence gathering, though it sparked debates about civil liberties. The Department of Homeland Security, DHS, was established to coordinate national efforts against terrorism, and airport security underwent a complete overhaul with the creation of the Transportation Security Administration, TSA. These measures, while aimed at enhancing safety, also led to concerns about the balance between security and individual freedoms. Racial and religious profiling became widespread, particularly targeting Muslim and Arab communities, leading to feelings of alienation and discrimination. The economic impact of 9/11 was profound. The immediate destruction in New York's financial district disrupted global markets, with the New York Stock Exchange remaining closed for nearly a week. The attacks also triggered a recession in the US, as consumer confidence plummeted and industries such as aviation, tourism, and insurance suffered massive losses. Globally, the economic fallout included increased costs for security and military spending. Nations around the world invested heavily in counterterrorism measures, which diverted resources from other developmental priorities. The long-term wars in Afghanistan and Iraq further strained the US economy, contributing to deficits and debates about the sustainability of military interventions. 2 decades after 9th November, its legacy continues to shape the world. The withdrawal of US troops from Afghanistan in 2021 marked the end of America's longest war but left questions about the effectiveness of the war on terror. Afghanistan's return to Taliban control and the enduring threat of terrorism highlight the complexities of combating extremism. The global security apparatus built in response to 9/11 remains in place, with ongoing debates about its effectiveness and ethical implications. Privacy concerns, the use of torture, and the treatment of detainees at facilities like Guantanamo Bay remain contentious issues. The tragedy of 9/11 serves as a stark reminder of the destructive power of hatred and extremism. It also underscores the importance of resilience, solidarity, and the pursuit of peace. As the world continues to confront new challenges, from cyberterrorism to climate change, the lessons of 9/11 remind us of the need for vigilance, empathy, and cooperation. While the scars of 9/11 may never fully heal, the hope lies in building a future where such horrors are not repeated. By addressing the root causes of conflict and fostering understanding among diverse communities, humanity can strive toward a more secure and harmonious world.